Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky. Good morning! I'm Jana, and we are living lucky.
Yes, we are.
Woo! It's going to be a good week. Today, we're talking about fear, anxiety, and worry.
Oh.
Jason had a little incident this morning. He wakes up.
Last night.
Oh, it happened last
Yeah.
night. When did you find out about it?
So I got back from visiting with Jennifer.
Okay.
And then it was right before I went to bed. So right before I go to bed on Sunday nights, I like to check LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to check LinkedIn, it didn't allow me to access my account. And then I started
Jason loves LinkedIn. He has been courting his LinkedIn networking
I've been very
circle
diligent.
for 10 years.
20
years. He was one of the first on LinkedIn, and he has like 40,000 connections, maybe even more. And literally, this is how he gets the majority of his clients. This is how he gets the majority of his business. This is how he consults businesses and people who want to make their lives better. It's through LinkedIn. People contact him through LinkedIn.
So a lot of my initial contact is through LinkedIn and through reaching out and saying, hey, I'm really interested in what you do. Like to just meet you and get to learn more about you. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get into my account. So I went to the computer because sometimes I do get a little frustrated with my phone.
Yes.
And I went to the computer and I was completely out. So I checked your LinkedIn profile to see, okay, well, what's going on? Am I still on LinkedIn? Did I get kicked off for some reason? And all my posts, everything in LinkedIn is now under someone else's name.
Under a McNally.
And my whole account's been hijacked, and some of the information's been changed, some of it's the same. So there's a weird thing. And then to compile the stress on that, it's very difficult to contact a social media entity like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter.
I know, you can never get a hold of them. Lorelai knows this. Once you try to contact the social media, you get the runaround, you get...
Well, there's not real. They give you this link of frequently asked questions, and it's like, how do I change my password? What do I do if I need to report a post? Those types of things that are really non-emergency. What you feel like needs to be handled immediately.
Okay, so we're talking about worry today because Jason woke up in a frenzy. He's been worried for the last however many hours.
8-9 hours.
And then it turns, once you start worrying is in your head. Worry is when you have something specific in your life and you are more than concerned. You worry. You lower your frequency. Good morning. I want to say hello to everybody. Patrick, Sheila, Julyn, Andy, Marilyn. So we're talking about worry, and I know that we all have experienced this. Now, if you continue to worry, which is really just living in the future, then you start having anxiety. Anxiety is more general. Anxiety lives in your body.
And I try not to live there.
And the reason that I know so much about this is because I have experienced this in my life to a major point where I was 38, I started worrying about my career, my relationships, my lifestyle.
The what's next?
Yeah, I started to worry. And then once that worry kind of churned into, it started to manifest in my body to the point where one day we were at the Phillips File poker tournament and I was in the bathroom and I had to text Jason and I was like, Jason answers it and he's like, what's the matter? You can't get your Spanx back on? And I was like, no, I'm having these heart palpitations and I can't breathe and my legs are spasming and my heart rate is just over the moon and I just feel like I'm breathing hard. And he goes, you're having an orgasm in the bathroom?
Without me?
So it's the same body signals as an orgasm, but it's the meaning that we attach to it. And I was putting worry and stress, which was causing anxiety.
You know what? I did have that back probably 10 years ago
Yeah,
in sales.
really?
Yeah, and I thought it was and I had it in college too.
Yeah.
And I remember in college, because I went to go see a therapist.
Yeah.
And the therapist said, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do.
Oh, that's huge. I just heard a bing. That's huge because we feel in our lives that we have to do things because society tells us to. It's the rules of life, but you don't have to do anything.
I had stacked all these things of I have to's, like I have to do this for the fraternity. I have to do this. I was president of the Criminal Justice Student Association. I was volunteering for the Northport Police Department.
Yes.
I require myself to make a certain grade level. Like all these little things that
we put this on ourselves.
I put on myself. And then
it's invisible. It's all in our heads.
intramural sports. Like I'd done all these things because I was really wanting to be involved. And the therapist at the student health center said, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And because I was young and
Yes.
I knew it all,
So good.
and I was a smart aleck, I was like, well, I don't want to pay my $8 for the visit.
And so did she make you pay?
Well, it was my card, my Bama card, so it got paid. But I was like that. I was my way of saying, well, if I don't have to do anything I don't want to do, I don't want to pay for this session because it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, then you didn't have to be at the session either.
Right, but I wanted to fix the problem. But that answer didn't make sense to me at the time. It makes sense now.
Yes.
Because we are actually. Wayne Dyer says we are making the appointment now for where we're going to be in 10 years.
Oh, that's another good one.
We made the appointment sometime in our past to be where we are right now.
Okay, I want to get all of you involved. Is there something that you are worried about? Put it in the comments. I want to know, is there anything in particular that you are worried about right now? Because I know Jason is worried about his LinkedIn accounts. He said this morning, I've made all these appointments with people and the only way I have to get a hold of them is through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, well, you know what? You have a brain and I know that it's in here somewhere. You just need to remember who these people are.
Yeah, and the firm appointments that I have are in the Google Calendar. They're in my calendar. They're on the paper calendar because I have that backup system. But the people that we've been back and forth about, hey, what's a good date?
Yeah.
We haven't firmed anything up. That's all gone, like completely gone.
Sheila says, too bad that doesn't work when applied to taxes.
Right? I'm not paying my taxes.
I don't have to do anything.
Well, that's the thing is you don't have to pay the taxes, but the government comes and gets your land.
Well, you don't have to live in the United States, though, either.
No.
And there are places that you can go where...
Well, they're going to have... I feel like there's more taxes there. Yeah, there's no escaping
we don't-
taxes. Death and taxes are the one thing on the planet.
Stop. You could go live off the grid somewhere.
You
There's
could go
no
live off the
taxes
grid.
there. No taxes off the grid.
Till they gridlock you.
Julian, what about you? Do you ever worry about anything? Because when I see your social media posts, you seem pretty happy-go-lucky. That's how I would categorize you.
I do feel like we have a choice. So, like last night, I decided there's absolutely nothing I can do about the LinkedIn situation.
Right.
And I slept extremely well last night. I had good dreams.
Oh, good.
I didn't have any stress-related dreams. In fact, when I went to the computer, I was there for about 30, 40 minutes trying to figure out how to just send a message to the help center. Came back to bed. I said, there's nothing I can do. Boom, out like a light.
Yeah. Patrick, what about you? What do you worry about? What is a stressor in your life? Because I kind of feel that when we worry, when we stress, when we have anxiety, we are lowering our frequency. And when we start to feel these things, what do we attract? We attract more of the same. So like attracts like. So if we're feeling worried, we're feeling anxious, we're feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, any of those words then that's what we're going to attract.
That used to be me every Sunday night. At 60 minutes, that clock ticking tick, 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 would send me into almost worry, panic, anxiety, and then it would be hard to fall asleep because I'd start thinking about, okay, all the things that need to get done in the morning. I have to get up at this certain time. I'm going to leave the house. I'm going to have my coffee. I'm going to get to work early. I'm going to get all these things done. And then I have to do this. I have to make these sales. And the whole, like, it would be this whole compounding of what has to happen to be successful instead of allowing the process to work and just be successful. Like the just be, like you talk about just be, like you know the process, work into it. But I would compound this, and then I would wake up late. I would be rushing and frantic, and just like you're saying, it would compound, and things wouldn't work out.
It is.
Well.
It puts you in a tizzy. In fact, I was on a call yesterday, and Mel Robbins, she was interviewing this expert in anxiety, and he said that when you're feeling stress, worry, anxiety, it's really that you are not loving and accepting all of yourself. And there is some truth to that, but I also feel that when you are worried or anxious or stressed out, you're not trusting God and the universe, because you have all the tools you need to handle anything that comes your way.
That's what I was going to say, is that you are enough. And that even if you don't have all the tools that you need currently, you have the experience to learn it or get it, because you've gotten to where you are. So you're not going to stop where you are. Like if it's something that you need, if it's something that you want, if it's something that you are destined for, you're going to get there because you have the capacity to learn it, to grow into it.
Julie says the garage that has my car is going through eviction and my car is in limbo, but I try not to let these things get to me. Right? You just have to trust, you know what? It's all going to work out, and whatever you encounter, whatever obstacle, you have a lifetime of experience. You can do hard things, you can figure it out, you can get around it, and it's not only trusting God, but trusting ourselves and trusting our circumstances. We are prepared. We're smart human beings that can solve problems, solve challenges. And one last thing that I want to add is, if we can, instead of saying worry, if we can use words like I'm concerned, I'm curious of why this is happening. If you can change the language slightly, then all of a sudden it doesn't have the meaning. We're constantly telling our brain what's happening in our world. And when we say things like, oh, this stresses me out, I am so worried about this, I am feeling so anxious, then what does our brain do? It looks for things to be worried about. It looks for signals of, oh, I should feel anxious. We're constantly in communication with our brain as well.
Yeah. If you're telling your brain this is how I feel, your brain's going to be like, okay, that's how my body needs to feel right now, because that's what my thoughts and mouth are saying.
If you change the language and say, you know what, I'm a little concerned, that tells your brain, okay, well, let's try to solve the problem, but it's not at the level of, dire straits. At any rate, this was fun. Michelle, good morning. And Andy says stressed. Oh, I'm stressed out this morning because I have an in-person work meeting. I have major social anxiety. Thanks for the encouraging and time messages today. Woo! We just got a ding ding. Let me just add this one little last notation. When you're feeling stress, worry, anxiety, you're trying to control the future. You're trying to control things that aren't in your capacity. When you do that, you are stealing yourself from joy, peace, and love. Joy, peace, and love, which is ultimately what we strive for, right? So why are we doing that to ourselves? Put it in the bubble and let it go. Let it go. Who needs LinkedIn? Love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. We'll be back tomorrow.
Happy Monday.
Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.